On a chilly November night in 2019, officers from Dublin assigned to the Garda National Drugs and Organised Crime Bureau embarked on a mission that would have a profound impact on the city's criminal landscape. Armed with critical intelligence, they executed a raid on a residence located in Woodford Grove, Kinahan. Little did they anticipate that this operation would become a pivotal moment in their battle against organized crime. Guided by crucial information, the officers swiftly moved to their target, a house in Woodford Grove, Kingshill, long suspected of being a hub of criminal activity. As they approached the scene, tension was palpable. Weapons were drawn as they observed movement within the premises. Armed police officers surrounded the area, prepared for any potential threats. Orders were issued in hushed voices, cutting through the quiet of the night as the officers stormed into the shed. Inside the dimly lit shed, two figures were found seated on a worn-out couch. Among them was Trevor Byrne, a notorious criminal with an ominous reputation. The officers, with guns trained on the individuals, demanded their surrender. However, Byrne remained strangely impassive, unmoving, his gaze fixed on the officers. Even after two additional warnings, there was no response from either man. The officers holstered their weapons, pulled the men from the couch, and forced them to the ground. That fateful night marked a significant victory for Dublin in its fight against organized crime. Byrne was ultimately sentenced to 9 years for firearm offenses just before Christmas in 2020. Beneath the couch where Byrne had been seated, officers discovered a loaded 9mm pistol. A DNA profile found on the weapon matched Byrne's. He later confessed before the Special Criminal Court, asserting that he possessed the firearm for self-defense due to a threat on his life, which had prompted him to flee the country years earlier. In 2016, a few months after the 9-year sentence, Trevor Byrne, with over 40 prior criminal convictions, found himself facing charges related to a failed armed robbery at Boyle Sports, a local bookmaker situated in the heart of Applewood Village in Swords, County Dublin. During the 2010 robbery, he had carjacked a woman at a gunpoint and threatened her life. The non-jury court found him guilty, mainly due to the mobile phone discovered at the scene that was traced back to Byrne. Byrne was handed a cumulative sentence of 17.5 years for the firearm offenses and the armed robbery. This, however, was not his first experience with protracted imprisonment. In 2005, another chapter in Byrne's criminal exploits emerged as he was sentenced to 8 years. This stemmed from his orchestration of a daring armed robbery at an off-license where he held 10 guards at gunpoint and abducted a patrol car before making a dramatic escape in a taxi while holding the taxi driver at gunpoint. Just 4 months after his release from prison in November of 2009, he carried out the Swords robbery. The story of Trevor Byrne is one marked by violence, betrayal, and audacious criminal acts that have indelibly left their mark on the city. His notoriety goes beyond the pull of a trigger. He was the key player in the drug trade of Finglas on behalf of the Kinahan cartel. This role earned him both respect and fear. Under the mentorship of Glenn David Ward, known as Mr. Flashy, Byrne eventually assumed control of Finglas in 2017. Byrne faced intense scrutiny as a prime suspect in the 2014 shooting of John Gilligan, a crime kingpin who accused him of orchestrating assassination attempts in 2013 and 2014. The feud between Byrne and Gilligan had deep-seated roots dating back to their shared time in Portloy's prison, during which Byrne reportedly assaulted Gilligan. Despite Gilligan's firm belief that Byrne was responsible for at least one of the attacks, Byrne faced no charges related to these incidents. Authorities suspected Trevor Byrne's deep involvement in the violent Kinahan-Hutch feud, a harrowing chapter that shook the city. His name was linked to chilling gangland gun attacks, most notably the ruthless murder of Eddie "Neddy" Hutch, one of the Jerry the Monk Hutch's brothers. 3 days after the infamous Regency Hotel shooting in 2016, Neddy Hutch returned home from his work as a taxi driver around 7:45 p.m. As he stepped out of his taxi, 4 men emerged from the BMW, approached him, and opened fire. Neddy Hutch was shot up to 9 times before collapsing and dying in his own home's hallway, with his unsuspecting wife present. In May 2016, Byrne was arrested and questioned for several days at Mountjoy Garda Station, one of the first 9 individuals arrested in connection with the murder. However, he was released without charges hanging over his head, despite being a suspect. Nevertheless, rumors of his involvement persisted, echoing through Dublin streets. After his release, Byrne was believed to have left the country and hid in the UK. To Dublin's surprise, he resurfaced on the city's streets shortly before his 2019 arrest. In April of 2023, while serving his 17.5-year prison sentence at Mountjoy Prison, Byrne was arrested for Nettie Hutch's murder for the second time. Even within the confines of incarceration, Byrne's influence persisted. Inside Mountjoy Prison, he embraced his gangster reputation, forming alliances with fellow Kinahan cartel inmates. A prison album featuring images of mob life in the higher security jail paints a picture of a man who remained unbroken, celebrating his 40th birthday with fellow inmates. The individuals in the images include Kevin Gibson, Graham Gardner, Glenn Thompson, and Robert Brown. Gibson, a close friend of senior cartel member Liam Byrne, had been imprisoned for 7 years due to his involvement in a 280,000-pound cocaine smuggling operation. Gardner, serving a 9-year sentence, was found in possession of a cache of firearms during a Garda operation targeting the Kinahan gang in 2016. This cache was believed to be intended for a planned attack on a close associate of Jerry the Monk Hutch. Thompson and Brown, the latter a former British Army soldier, received sentences of 17.5 years and 11.5 years, respectively, for possession of firearms. Amidst the tumultuous life of Trevor Byrne, another significant chapter unfolds. It traces back to his association with the Kinahan cartel and a web of intrigue involving various crime figures in Dublin. In the annals of crime history, Byrne's name became synonymous with a criminal empire associated with the Kinahan cartel. Years prior, Dublin's veteran gangster Trevor Byrne faced a situation where he had to call upon his cartel associates for protection against a notorious crime boss known as Eamon the Don Doon. Byrne had been a close associate of the slain John Daly, a figure from the fingerless criminal underworld known for his brazen demeanor and fierce temper. In 2007, a grave incident took place that set the stage for his sinister alliance. It was believed that Daly was attempting to encroach on the North Doon patch controlled by Eamon the Don Doon. In response, it is claimed that Doon, in collaboration with a ruthless hitman named Paddy Doyle and the infamous caged fat Freddie Thompson, offered a substantial sum of £1,000 to have Daly eliminated. Fearful of retribution for Daly's murder, Byrne found himself in a precarious position. When he was released from prison in December of 2009, Dunn demanded Byrne's assistance in setting up another criminal named John Paul Joyce. This was seen as a test of Byrne's loyalty to the cartel. However, Byrne took a different path. Instead of complying with Dunn's demands, he sought the support of Kinahan cartel. It was through his alliance that he came under the protection and influence of Daniel Kinahan. This move marked a pivotal moment in Byrne's criminal career. As the events unfolded, Doon ultimately resorted to his means. He went on to eliminate John Paul Joyce, regardless of Byrne's decisions, leading to further violence in Dublin's criminal landscape. The ensuing months saw a series of events that would forever alter the city's underworld. This intricate web of alliances and rivalries adds another layer to the complex story of Trevor Byrne, shedding light on the intricate relationships and power struggles within Dublin's criminal underworld. The legacy of these events continues to echo through the city, leaving a lasting impact on its history.